This is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is June 11th, 2021, and these are the top stories of the day. To kick things off, we're going to hop into the Famitsu sales for the week, which usually we save for the end, but we're going to start off with it today. This is for week 23, 2021, which occupies May 31st through June 6th of the year. Once again, thank you to Chris1964 from the ResetEra.com forums that puts this list together very nicely. At number 1, in terms of software sales, was Miitopia for Nintendo Switch at 25,600 copies sold. At number 2 was Monster Hunter Rise, also for Nintendo Switch at 19,500. Number 3, Ring Fit Adventure with 13,500. At 4 is Minecraft on Nintendo Switch with 11,600. Number 5 is Momotaro Dentetsu with 11,600. Number 6 is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury with 9,800. And number 7, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 9,700. Number 8, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 7,300. Number 9, Rune Factory 5, 6,400. And at number 10, Resident Evil Village, the PlayStation 4 version, which got 6,300. That's the top 10. I do have the rest of the chart here as well, which I will scroll down. But looking at the top 10 before we go onwards, it's not a particularly crazy week in terms of, any one game just selling extremely well. The top selling game only did 25,000. But on the more important side, it is Miitopia with a pretty small drop of only 26% from the previous week. So it looks like this game is going to have some decent legs, where even if it's not just this breakout title that's selling hundreds of thousands in the opening weeks and then just dropping off, if it can manage to have a small drop off, have a longer tail, so to speak, it could potentially be a 500,000 seller in Japan. Then again, with digital sales, I think it's even more likely to at least hit the 500,000 mark. Definitely a million seller worldwide. Some of the other titles went up, It's pretty impressive when that happens. Momotaro went up. Mario Kart went up. Super Mario Party went up. People are probably liking that online presence that Super Mario Party just received with that update. Super Smash Bros. Went up and so forth. We've got new Pokemon Snap in here, Clubhouse Games, Splatoon 2, Biomutant, we got a PS4 title. Don't know if any PS5 titles are here except for Resident Evil Village, but that even managed to crack in the top 30, I should say, with 2,000 copies sold. Overall, you're going to look at a very big split of, 24 Nintendo Switch titles, 1 for PlayStation 5 and 5 for PlayStation 4. It should be interesting to see how this is affected in the coming weeks, especially because E3 is coming up. There will be sales going on, I'm sure, around the world, not just eShop, not just United States, which we know for a fact will have a sale, but most likely brick and mortar stores around the globe will have some type of sales to take advantage of the hype around E3, especially if there are sequels announced, like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, finally shown off with its full title, gameplay, everything at the show. I do expect, that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Senior, with its 2021, which is actually an increase of 6% over its previous week, to get a bit of a bump. Because at this point in time, if you have a Nintendo Switch and you've had one for a while, you probably have Zelda, or you have chosen not to get it. If you're a new weekly Nintendo Switch purchaser, that you're new to the ecosystem, you might be interested, or you might not. Most seem to be not interested. Otherwise, you would have a really strong attach ratio of Breath of the Wild to Switch. For every 100,000 Nintendo Switch consoles that get sold week in and week out, you would have a very high, 90,000 Breath of the Wilds being sold, right? That doesn't seem to be the case. However, something like a sale, something like a new trailer for the sequel game could get people that have kind of put a game off because it came out too long ago, not interested, saw enough online. Maybe they'll change their mind and they'll hop in, but we'll see. Moving into hardware. Speaking of systems selling almost 100,000, Nintendo Switch busted out 97,208 for this week, which is a good increase of 26,000 from last week. Quite a significant jump of 29,000 over last year for that respective week. PlayStation 5 had a big drop, unfortunately, over 50%. Went from 39,000 last week to 18,000 for this current week's stats. PS4, 2,700. Xbox Series, 630. 3DS at 341. Look at that Nintendo Switch with its 20,115,000. It is creeping up on the Nintendo 3DS. You know, you're looking at 4.4 million away. It could happen by the end of this year. To be safe, by the end of their fiscal year, you know, March 31st, 2022, I would say definitely expect Nintendo Switch to pass 3DS's total. And that goes without even a Nintendo Switch Plus console revision because the system is doing really well week in and week out. Most of 2021, week in and week out, is outpacing 2022 respectively. As you can see here, the year to date for the Nintendo Switch in Japan is 2.7 million. Last year at this same point in time, it was at 2.4 million, so you're looking at 300,000 plus more. This is probably going to be Nintendo Switch's best-selling year in Japan, possibly its best-selling year worldwide to date. Could 2022 top it? Maybe. We're going to find out a lot more at E3 because surely Nintendo's going to show off some titles that are big coming out next year. We know, in fact, that not everything at E3 is going to be a 2021 release, so just what do they have in store for next year? It's kind of crazy to think that a console that many years in could have its best year potentially be 6 years in. We'll see. Next up, I'm not going to play the whole trailer. I would do an entire presentation reaction to it, but it is all in Japanese. It is a 5.5 minute look at No More Heroes 3. With the vast majority of my audience being from North America, although I welcome you to watch, and I'm happy that you're watching from anywhere in the world, but just the analytics show that most are coming from North America. I presume that most are not fluent in Japanese. So, listening to Japanese without subtitles could be a little bit off. However, if you're enjoying the gameplay footage and enjoying the cinematics, and hopefully I'm doing a good job by talking about my hype and expectations of No More Heroes 3, we can let this trailer go for a bit. I'm looking forward to it, I was a big fan of No More Heroes 1 and 2 on Wii. I thought that the Travis Strikes Again title that came out on Nintendo Switch a couple years back was pretty fun. But I was definitely looking forward to most. Give me a proper sequel, No More Heroes 3. I want this crazy storyline, and this has got nice cinematic flair. Gameplay looks fun. Looks like good old No More Heroes action. I'm gonna jump around the trailer though for a bit, because even with me talking, it's a little bit off in not knowing what's being said, right? But we can get some gameplay in here. Let's see. Full armor Travis. That's a good spot. Looks pretty cool, pretty violent. The announcer's great. His energy level is fantastic. certain things blurred out, as you saw, plunged in the toilet.
でもよ、人ってのは労働の先に何を見つけるかで人生が大きく劇的に変化するってもんだぜ。3では再びフリーマップが復活。
The world that you get to explore looks pretty fun. The visuals in some parts of the game, I'd say, look really nice and fluid. In other areas, I'd say a little more work should be done, maybe? That's some nice artwork right there. Yeah, you know, graphics being a little bit off in some areas aren't going to break the game for me. Also, this probably isn't the absolute final build, and we're watching it, you know, off of YouTube. But that being said, I don't think it's going to look tremendously better between now off of YouTube and in a couple months when we're playing it on our TVs natively on the Nintendo Switch. But it should look a little bit better at least. That's reasonably to be expected. But overall, I'm looking forward to the game still. Still going to pick it up day one. Let me know what you think. Are you a fan of No More Heroes? Will this be your first time trying out the game? I don't think, and by the way, just because it's part 3, if you haven't played 1 and 2, they are available on the Nintendo Switch eShop. You know, you'll be treated to a little bit different of a time in gaming with some moderate increased resolution and stuff. But even if you just go into this completely blind, I think you'd still be treated to a fun action game with a crazy story. And even if you don't have a ton of context, probably still have a good time. Hopefully the game is solid, but so far it's looking good. Okay, moving on. I woke up this morning, I was like, June 11th, 2021. Wow. Game Boy Advance came out today, 20 years ago. My grandpa's birthday, who has passed, but still, as a, you know, memory. And I was sharing that information with my family, so it was kind of a nice treat to reminisce. Grandpa, Game Boy Advance, coinciding together. And yeah, Nintendo put this up on their Twitter. Time flies. On this day, 20 years ago, the Game Boy Advance was released. What was your first and favorite memory with the portable system? I actually played Game Boy Advance for the first time at E3, and it was at E3, super cool. Nintendo had these foam Game Boy Advance and Nintendo GameCube what would you call them? Yeah, well, these foam / rubber Game Boy Advance and Nintendo GameCubes. Yeah, they were made out of foam and rubber. The Game Boy Advance was like life size. The GameCube was a little bit smaller, and it was just swag. It was just promotional material, and it was really cool. I got a few GameCubes. I got a few Game Boy Advances. So I still have that, which is kind of crazy that some of my swag is 20 years old from my second E3, 2001. And actually, somebody replied to me on Twitter. I was talking about it, and I was talking about these rubber foam GBAs and GameCubes. So Fu Man Cheese, these are actually his photos, but this is exactly what I was talking about. He took a picture of his GBAs, his GameCubes, real ones next to the fake ones, and you can see, well, I say fake, but, you know, obviously they're meant to be promotional items. Pretty fun, though. What was my favorite memory of the system? Well, the first time playing it at E3 probably was just really exciting because Nintendo went wide with their handheld as opposed to the vertical nature of the Game Boy previously. And then they kind of went back to the narrow side of things with the Game Boy Advance SP. But playing the Minish Cap on this system, playing Street Fighter Alpha 3 was terrific, especially after Capcom did such a good job with Street Fighter Alpha 2 on the Super Nintendo. And that Nintendo 64 very oddly missed Street Fighter altogether To get Alpha 3 on GBA was great. Metroid Fusion, oh yeah. Metroid Zero Mission, sweet too. Yeah, so first memory, playing it at E3 for the first time and getting these accompanying promotional swag, foam, rubber, mock-up GBAs. Favorite memory, I guess some kind of split between Metroid Zero Mission, Fusion, The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. Oh, Mario Kart Super Circuit was another good one for GBA. And Street Fighter Alpha 3. Yeah, probably my top 5 off the top that I can think of. Oh, but then we also have like Golden Sun and stuff. Oh, man. Game Boy Advance was a really good system. Yeah. Props, GBA. Happy 20th anniversary. Okay. Enough reminiscing for now. Moving on. The final thing of the day. It's a rumor. That's why I'm putting it at the end. Usually, like I said, when I cover Famitsu's sales data from Japan, I put that at the end on that respective day. But we have got a good rumor, and that's regarding a new Mario and Rabbids title, supposedly called Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. A certain leak got out there on the internet, which included this title. Seems to be legit. There's been a lot of rumblings and rumors behind the scenes going on that we could be getting a new Mario plus Rabbids game anyways. So when this leak came out and having people further talk about it like, yeah, this is real, Sparks of Hope is happening, I think this is probably going to show up tomorrow at Ubisoft's event. And I personally can't wait. I loved the first game. I did not know what to expect. When Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle was first shown off for Nintendo Switch way back in 2017, I thought, like, what is this crossover? This is weird. Some kind of real-time strategy, tactical strategy, RPG with Mario and Rabbids. Now, I previously liked the Rabbids and the crazy cart-pushing Race to the Moon game on Wii back in the day, like 2009, was a lot of fun. So the Rabbids are cool. And they actually came out, if I'm not mistaken, before the Minions. So they are the original Minions, even though the Minions probably have more popularity. But even the Rabbids cartoon and they're just kind of funny, kind of crazy guys. So to have them team up with Mario in this game was really weird, unexpected. But I played it then at E3 for the first time. And I fell in love. I thought, this is good. This is tight. I expect this type of quality from Ubisoft. I expect this type of quality from Nintendo. Wasn't expecting this type of game, but such an odd feeling of just not being able to run around the field and jumping on characters as Mario, which is what I've been doing for 30 plus years. But it worked. And the animation, the humor behind it, the craziness in the characters, the different weapons, the combat, just the flow and the satisfaction, the HD rumble combined. Graphics, solid too. Really good game. All the way to the final boss, every level was a nice looking environment. I highly recommend this one. It's always on sale. I shouldn't say always, but quite often it's on sale on the eShop. And this is one of those things I was just talking about with like my Breath of the Wild example. Should Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope actually be shown off tomorrow? And it looks great. And people are like, this looks amazing. When is it coming out? Later this year? Wait a minute, there's another one? See, there are some people that with a Nintendo Switch library ever growing, there are a lot of titles that came out several years ago that aren't being sold 1-to-1 ratio or even a high ratio with each new Nintendo Switch owner. Some titles are definitely still hanging in there, but others get lost in the shuffle. You have a new sequel to a game that's solid, brings attention to the old game, you probably see some improvement in the old game sales. So hopefully with a good sale of Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle and Sparks of Hope being shown off, the original gets bumped up, sells more, and then the hype is real for Sparks of Hope, and Sparks of Hope is, bam, multi-million seller this fall. That would be an exciting game to have come out this year, like out of nowhere. It's almost too bad that kind of the leaks and the rumblings were out there, because this would be quite a nice surprise to just see at E3, you know? But let me know what you thought of today's news, the Famitsu charts, No More Heroes. Are you excited about it? Do you have any fond memories of Game Boy Advance? What do you think about those foam / rubber GBAs and GameCubes? I'll have to bust out my old swag from E3 and show you just in person what the size is and what I mean by foam and rubber, because they're squishy and stuff. You know, they're not real systems. There's no electronics inside. So thank you again for watching. This is Video Game News with Gale Network signing out. Hope you all have a good day. E3 in one day. We made it. My most anticipated event of the year. I'm so glad that it's coming back after missing it last year. After not getting to go in 2 years since 2019's show in person. Really looking forward to it. We've got coverage Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then the biggest one for me, Tuesday's Nintendo Direct. Ooh, woo! It's exciting. All right. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Bye.